Hi, Gary here from SoConnect. I'm just going to talk to you today a little bit about the new technology known as EoFTTC. That's Ethernet over Fibre to the Cabinet, which is a long name. It's also known as GEA, Generic Ethernet Access, by other carriers. What it basically is, in layman's terms, is EFM type connectivity over existing fibre broadband infrastructure where it's available. And that's the problem with it, because fibre broadband, fibre to the cabinet, is still being rolled out on a UK-wide basis and isn't prevalent across the entire country as yet. That means this new technology isn't prevalent across the entire country as yet either. So at the moment it's limited availability, but where it is available it can be a cost-effective alternative to EFM or conventional fibre lease lines, since it offers similar service levels, albeit with bandwidth that is subject to line length, because there is an element of copper line in the service. So bandwidth can be very good and go all the way up to kind of 70, 80 meg. Then again it can be as low as 20 and doesn't really offer, in that case, doesn't really offer a cost-effective service if compared to EFM, for example, which will be symmetrical with a much better SLA. EoFTTC, or GEA, comes typically with a 6 or 7 hour SLA or longer, and is fairly expensive for what it is where it's available, but it is now a form of connectivity we can offer going forward. So what does this mean for your business? Where EoFTTC is available, it can mean that you now have access to a vastly improved form of connectivity over and above standard broadband that doesn't fall within the remit of the expense of conventional lease lines or even EFM. However, as I said earlier, the issue is availability, because it is subject to existing fibre broadband infrastructure being available to you, and if that isn't there, then unfortunately you won't be able to get the service yet. But it is something that we can monitor by virtue of our ongoing monitoring checks for fibre broadband that we are doing for many customers at the moment. The other major benefit of EoFTTC is cost. So where you can get it, it does offer a cost-effective alternative to conventional Ethernet solutions like EFM and Ethernet over Fibre, and it will give you some level of service guarantees and service levels in terms of SLAs at potentially a lower cost than something like EFM, which can be an attractive option. The only issue there is that where bandwidth gets high on EoFTTC, it often isn't symmetrical. And that's because of the nature of the type of connection involved, where there's copper there, a copper line. So if there is a high level of bandwidth available to you, that may mean you don't get symmetrical bandwidth, but if you're happy with the cost involved and the service levels that are on offer, it can be a very attractive option in comparison to EFM. The lead times are also faster than EFM, so where EFM is typically a 45 working day delivery, EoFTTC can be in and running within 20 to 30 days, if not sooner. In fact, if memory serves, I think we had one recently we quoted that was below 20 working days for 10 to 15 working days, so it can be a very quick turnaround, but it ultimately depends on whether you can get it and what infrastructure is available to you locally. The other issue with EoFTTC is obviously the lack of contention, since it's an Ethernet grade service like EFM or Ethernet over Fibre. So unlike broadband, it isn't a shared connection. It's actually designed to be an Ethernet business grade connection with no contention. So it will deliver an Ethernet grade service into your business, whereas a conventional FTTC broadband connection won't. It will be a fibre broadband connection that will deliver enhanced bandwidth potentially, but still be subject to contention on the local network, i.e. how many other users locally on the BT network are using broadband at any given time, and that affects the performance of your individual connection. With Ethernet over FTTC that isn't the case. It is an uncontended service like other lease line products such as EFM or Ethernet over Fibre.